Hello. Just 1 second. I'm Kat Leonard.
Bananas Colin.
It's true.
It's Megan Bradley.
You always have to take the call. Please hold. Today, we are talking about sexual health and how it affects health in general and happiness levels as well. How do you feel about that?
I feel that sex and happy easily go in the same sentence.
And I said,
Yes.
Why not?
Yes.
With us today is Gaia Morissette.
Yes.
Welcome.
I'm so excited to be here.
We're so excited for you. The energy level, she's been warning us about the energy level and that we might be getting feelings.
I like feelings because you're a sexual wellness coach.
I am.
And you go under succulent living.
Yes.
That just sounds
Slurpy.
That sounds good.
Yes.
Now, tell us about succulent living.
So succulent living is all about being sexy and living life fully. So it's about sexual wellness. And as a sexual wellness coach, I work from a place of all our mind, body, and spirit. So it's not just the act of sex, right? It's all about how our sexuality affects our mind, our feelings, our emotions, our physical well-being, everything, the holistic.
How does it?
It does every which way.
Like how? Like for the lay person who kind of separates them or really puts sex into like one compartment of life. How do you describe how it really boils over into everything?
Because even gender differences too. Like I know enough to know that women are more mental, like their sex is happening more.
That's not what she meant.
We're insane. We're insane. But it happens more in our brain where they say men, it's more a physical thing. So like talk to us from a gender perspective. And
Okay, so let's start with how many times have you been sitting around and you see somebody walk in the room and they're miserable and they're crotchety and they're grumpy?
Too often.
Right? Yeah. And how often have you said, they need to get laid?
That's true. I think it often.
Yes,
right?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
So the whole idea is that's what it is,
Okay.
right? If we are being sexually active and having, it doesn't even have to be sexually active with others, it can be with ourselves.
Okay.
And we're having orgasmic releases, what that does is it helps with our biochemical responses in our body. So it helps to release endorphins, your dopamine levels, it helps to regulate your serotonin levels, oxytocin levels. So all the life is good, which is where how that goes from having more of that means you're more happy.
All
Right?
right.
The more happier that you are, the more likely you're going to have some action.
It's a
I have
cycle.
found that to be true.
It's a
because
cycle.
happiness and confidence is very sexy.
It is very sexy.
Yeah. So if you're like walking around like this,
Nobody wants to get on that.
No one wants to get on that. Exactly. It's so true.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, we went there.
So, what is it? Is it the actual orgasm, or is it the state? Because what if you don't reach orgasm? Is there still a release? Is there still, you definitely still get a flow?
So, of course, when you have an orgasmic release, that's the and when you have many of them, it's even better.
Okay.
If you're not able to achieve orgasm for whatever reason, emotionally, physically, psychologically going on for you, then you will still get some benefits, some physical benefits of the oxytocin levels. So like when they talk about giving each other hugs, it would release that.
You're to have 12 hugs a day, I heard, to maintain healthiness.
Oh, things to do
Happiness.
today.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yay. I'll go back next.
11 more to go.
All right. So, where was the question again? You got me all distracted.
So I know, we knew this was going to happen. You warned us. If you don't, go to full completion, and what's the difference between ejaculation and orgasm?
Ooh.
Do they go hand in hand? Pun not intended.
We're doing this.
All right. So let's go with female. Let's actually, instead of female, male, let's go with if you have a vagina or you have a penis.
Okay.
Okay, because I don't want to exclude anybody.
Yep.
Okay. So if you have a vagina, ejaculation, female ejaculation is not the same thing as orgasm.
Okay.
And they're two separate things. So when I explain orgasm, I like to think about when you're having your orgasm, you're kind of like you kind of squeeze it all in, right?
Yes.
And you're pulling that energy, drawing that energy in.
Yes.
When you ejaculate, you bear down. So it's like you're pushing out, right? Now, some people with a vagina, they can do that part of their sexual interaction where their orgasmic pattern is where they draw in and they push out, they draw in and they push out.
Okay.
For others, if they only draw in, then they have to consciously learn to bear down, push out to ejaculate.
Well, let's talk about that because there's an energetic flow within us all the time, and especially during sexual encounters with ourselves or with others.
Yes.
And can you talk a little bit about the plug analogy of energy and sexual encounters?
And before that, we got to talk about the boys.
All right, I'd love to talk about
We
it.
don't want to leave out the penis.
Yes.
Hold on, I'm just going to let them in on the conversation.
Okay, so with when the penis ejaculates, it feels like it's the same thing, but you can learn to differentiate
as orgasm,
right? So ejaculation and orgasm aren't the same thing for men either. However, it feels like it's the same thing. So with training and retraining your body, men can learn how to have full body orgasms without ejaculating. Because when men, so this is the difference between the male energy and the feminine energy, right? Masculine energy, the more you have orgasm, the more you actually build it, as long as you don't ejaculate.
Okay.
Okay? So when you're orgasming, you're drawing in energy. You're talking about energy, right? We're building, we're drawing more energy. We're building, we're drawing more energy.
Okay.
Right? Each time you have an orgasm without the ejaculation, you get to go up another plateau. So I always look at it as, when I explain Tantra and sexual energy,
I was just going to ask you how that played into it.
So I always explain it like, look at it as like a staircase.
Yeah.
So the average person basically only ever stays at the first plateau. So you go up, you have your orgasm with ejaculation, you fall back down to the stairs.
Yeah.
Okay? When you learn to have non-ejaculatory orgasms, both male and female, because this also works with women too, right? If you, as soon as you ejaculate, and because it's that pushing out energy, you lose your
steps.
You lose how many steps you were on, right?
All right.
So the more you build your energy, so you're at the first plateau, and that's pretty good. Not bad, you know. But if you hold off and don't ejaculate, you go up the next flight of stairs. This is where
How many steps are there?
It depends on the person.
Oh.
All right. So you're now up here.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if you were to ejaculate, if you decide, you know what, I want to ejaculate both male or female, you only will go down the first flight of stairs. You probably won't go all the way back down to the very center, at the very bottom.
Huh.
All right. So.
Only to climb again.
Only to climb again. Yeah. Now, if you really want to see God and visions and all sorts of things.
Are you hearing this?
Oh my You want to go up the next plateau.
Okay.
And this is where people strive that are practicing sacred sexual practices, right?
Okay.
They want to be up here.
Okay.
This is where you have visions and God and divine and all sorts of magical experiences happen.
So, tell us how to climb the stairs.
Well, that's a lifetime journey.
Okay.
Okay, so.
But you know, in a few lines or more, how do we start to at least think about getting past that first level?
Well, first of all, you have to let go of ejaculation.
Okay.
So for men, that's a harder process.
Yes.
For females, it's actually the more orgasms we have, the faster we climb up the stairs.
Okay.
Right? So for women, it's about learning how to become multiply orgasmic.
Okay.
And for men, it's about learning to differentiate the difference between ejaculation and orgasm.
Okay.
And you have to start that process of training to do that.
Ah.
All right. So
and this
takes
is
time.
what you do. You're a sexual coach. This is what you do.
This is what I
see.
do. Go team sex.
All right. So when someone comes into you and says, "All right,"
no pun intended.
You are. Get the banana off the set. What are you doing? When someone comes to you, what is their goal? And what maybe starts off as their goal to talk to you probably goes a whole other direction that they didn't even know. Like, walk us through that process a little bit.
So I have 3 types of clients that I work with. Okay. So a lot of the work I actually do is dealing with sexual abuse and sexual trauma and recovery.
Okay.
So you know, we talk about all
Yes.
but before you can get all you have to feel safe and surrender and feel good in your body and reclaim your body and all these things. So
this is a healing practice.
This is a huge, right? So I do, first part of that is reclaiming safety. You know, I talked about sexual wellness kind of has 5 aspects to it. So the first one is play, and that's where I do, you know, surrendering, letting go of control, feeling safe, just being in our bodies, right? And being good and happy and safe in our bodies.
Yes.
Then the second part of that aspect is the sensuality. And that's where we're like in our bodies. We have these amazing sensory bodies to take in information. That's just pleasure, right? So things smell good, things taste good, things look good, right?
Yes.
Our engagement. So it's about us being in our bodies. You can't be in your, if you're not in your body, how are you going to be orgasmic?
Yeah.
You can't,
Right.
right? It's like going from 0 to 100 with nothing in between,
Yeah.
right? So then the next aspect is the sexuality component. And that's where we get into the, how do we surrender? How do we be orgasmic? How do we allow regular pleasure, sensory pleasure, to build and build and build, so then it becomes an orgasmic experience.
Okay.
Right? So there's pleasure and then there's orgasmic pleasure. Then we have exploration, which of course is my personal favorite aspect. And that's where we get wild and freaky and we start to explore who we are, our deep desires.
Oh, interesting.
Right? So we have to feel safe, we have to be in our bodies, we have to learn to surrender to pleasure. We don't make it happen, we learn to surrender. Then we're like, okay, now we get to have fun. Now this is where we start to have fun with sex, right? This is where our deep, dark desires, our BDSM, swinging from the chandeliers, you know, this is where you get freaky, okay? And this is a place in which people get to learn to surrender to partnership and vulnerability and intimacy.
Yeah.
This is the deepest level of intimacy that can exist within a relationship. When you can sit in front of somebody and say, honey, I'd really like you to spank me with a rubber chicken while wearing a tutu.
I'm going to take a moment here and just really process that. We're going to have to take a break here on the curve. We'll be back, and Gaia's going to take us through a bit of a workshop, maybe give us some skills and tricks.
Oh, my. You're too much. I love you. I love you more every day.